Me did Yanyante Chua, and maybe I'm discovered for you, Pakuma Busia for Ghana. No, me used to tap send. Tap send. No fee mobile money transfer. Aye easy, aye convenient, aye fast, and sounds so free. Won't you share? Me discover aye mapim. Tap send. Intienne. Also download the tap send app. No, ever mobile phone so free. Nefesi kakomu Busia for Ghana for na. Tap send. Papa no.
Oh, so nyame, wadikasia, waye.
Me botatim, nyame, ayayi, nyina ya wudi, jia yo, onyakupo, obesawani onyam. Fawuni paduanina, fabakupo, mi papa, amanina, beyi waya, matina, won't namaya nyawupo, awradia, yamatina, won't say.
Brethren, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that you all speak the same thing, that there will be no division among you, but in the same mind and in the same judgment. For it has been declared to me concerning you, my brethren. Now I say this, that each 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11 to 12. Become complete, be of good comfort, be of
National First Vice Chairperson, former National Women of Bowl reading.
Galatians 6:9-10. And let us not grow weary while doing good.
Respectfully for the opening of conference.
Your Excellency, I duly second the motion. Thank you.
Lady of Republic of Ghana, the National Chairman, Yevra Freddie Blay, General Secretary, Yevra John Boadu, Council of Elders Chairman, Honorable MPs, Honorable CEOs, National Council members, Nananum, my colleagues, regional chairman, 275 constituencies, executives, Mijina Shanti regional executives, Anamu, Mewakamu Obia Diba, the National Delegate Conference of Ashanti region. Yadamunyina masi, especially a year 2020 elections. Yadamasi akwas runkusu, namafa sa akwanya wesu, namidi asra party mpanimfua, yachashiamu wa hasei, MPP party a year 2000 and when Yakupo boy ama yetimi ba power Yewra John Ajakum Kufo Abraso a year 208 ni enim say ebetimi awene esansa ni ani kru ye we emunti. The other political parties, they lied. The other political parties lied because there was a disunity among us. It's a delay. I was said, no, MPP government. Kietimi tuaso, I was 209 edeko. Enunti, nneɛma papa yɛwura gye kufoɔ ɛde baayɛ ate sɛ national health insurance free maternity care a wɔn de baayɛ no ne nyinaa no ɛsan sɛ yɛfiri aban mu nti no mmerɛ bi akyi ndc foɔ baayɛ no ɛba bɛsɛe yɛ me nuanom sɛsɛ yɛaduru abere a MPP yɛsa wine ɛyɛ 2016 and 2020 elections yɛhwɛ nneɛma pa a yɛwura ɛyɛ the president of Republic of Ghana Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo ɔde agu akwan mu a sɛ yɛma kwan ama disunity ba yɛn ntam a anya deɛ ɛbɛboa party no na anya deɛ nso so a ɛbɛboa Ghana because yɛnim sɛ MPP pɛ ɛna wɔaban mu a yɛtumi de nhyehyɛeɛ a ɛyɛ papa ɛtumi de brɛ ɔman no nyinaa ebi ne free education ebi ne planting for food and jobs ebi ne digitization ebi ne one district one factory yɛhwɛ saa nneɛma pa yi a Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo de aba yɛn nyinaa no a ɛnam so ɛna yɛ the phobis ɔmatumi abɔ n'aba so sɛ our president is the best president in the whole Africa. Now, when you are traveling has become prison. If you go to China, they will keep you in hotel for 1 month. If you go to UK, they will keep you in hotel for 10 days. America is the same. Ladies and gentlemen, if some people are saying Ghana economy or Ghana is hard, we all have to understand that the traders cannot travel. Because once they travel, you have to use your money to pay for hotels. There is a COVID. Now, if you are checking the Ghana system, you will know and you will bear with us that Nana Akufo-Addo government, MPP government are moving forward. NDC people, I have a piece of advice for you. You delay us in 208, but you cannot stop us from winning the 2024 elections. It is a movement. It is a movement. It is a movement. It is a movement. Winning the 2024, 2028, 2032 elections is a movement, and this cannot stop us. Thank you. May God bless you all. I love you. I love you all. I love you. Thank you, Chairman Wontumi.
Give the chairman a round of applause for his powerful.
Do the protocols. Mr. President, you and your spouse, Auntie Becky. Mr. Vice President, you and your spouse, Samira. The Chief of Staff, the Chairman of the Council of Elders, the National Executives, Ministers, MPs, MMDCs, Regional Executives, invited guests, our colleagues or friends from other parties if they are here, our friends from the media, and all other protocol observed. If there are chiefs here, I want to also accord you that you are welcome to our 2021 National Conference being held here in the Garden City of Kumasi, the heart of Ashanti, and indeed our party's stronghold. First of all, I want to thank the chairman of Ashanti Party, who who has just given us words of encouragement and has beckoned us to be strong, to be disciplined, to be united. I want also to thank Pastor Anda in his sermon, who has asked us to be united, because he says party itself constitutes unity. Indeed, we've met here today for this conference with the theme that our resolution, our determination, and our commitment to the development of our country, Ghana. And based on this theme, I want to welcome you all from the various regions, various constituencies to this national conference. I appreciate that to have been a mammoth rally, if not a very big conference, had it not been for the COVID-19 that we are still struggling with. I want to thank, first of all, the committee that organized this conference for its observance of the protocols and ensuring that all those of us who are here are vaccinated and wearing our mask, ensuring that this pandemic is not let loose in us. So far, we want to thank the President, Nana Dankwa, and his government for the way within these 2 years it has handled this pandemic to the extent that we are the toast of all nations. Because had it not been for that, we would have been at the mercy of the pandemic to the extent that our economy would have been devastated. Although we are not still out of the woods, although we are facing challenges, although things are not what we had wanted it to be since we assumed power in 2017, but for the good management, for the competent management of the economy, and Nana Dankwa, Vice President, and their team, Ghana will have seen worse days. But thank God, you've handled it so far, and we continue to battle it with success. We are here gathered with over 6,000 to 7,000 people with a common purpose. Our resolve is to energize our base, to take stock of what we've done in the past few years that we've been in power, and to strategize for what to do within these 3 years to convince Ghanaians that beyond doubt, the MPP government is always the best party to be handling the economy for this country. But we won't take anything for granted. And that is why we want to come today to deliberate, to consult ourselves, to network, and to assure ourselves, even amongst us doubting Thomases, that things are not too good. Some of us may even be doubting ourselves, our own capability of handling the economy, which has so far been expertly done. We need to ginger ourselves, irrespective of agitation, irrespective of lies, irrespective of deliberate distortion of what we are doing. We ourselves need to convince ourselves. We ourselves have to be united. We ourselves have to stand steady, so that at the end of the 4 years, it will not be any doubt that people of this country will vote for us, whoever we present for the 2024 elections. That is why we are determined today to have this conference and talk among us, consult each other, and know what to do and how to go about it. Make no mistakes. Don't take anything for granted. We are up against a very formidable foe. Our opponents, political opponents, I don't even want to mention their names. They will resort at nothing. They will do everything by distortion and all other things to make our good works look bad, to make even ourselves doubt that whatever we are doing, what Ghanaians expect us to do. But if we are resolved, if we are united, if we are selfless, if we eschew arrogance, those of us particularly in positions that we have been appointed to, if we work with our people, if we keep touch with our base, if we get a party behind us, come 2024, we shall still remain in power and raise the level. We will definitely raise the level higher and let Ghanaians bring us back. Just as President Kufuor some time ago has said that we need to be in power not for just 12 or not for 8 years, but 12, 16, and even more. A lot therefore depends on how the party will back the government that we put. There could be mistakes. There could be other things which may not be deliberate. There could be among us who may even falter. But that doesn't mean that we together should not stick together and ensure that our government succeed. When our government succeeds, we have succeeded. Let me also put it this way before I go. Next year is going to be interesting. For sure, amongst us, there will be people among us who will be vowing, putting themselves up to take positions. Healthy contest. But we should not pluck our eyes. We should not be involved in messing ourselves up. We should not be in a contest that will render us wounded for our friends to overcome us. It should be brotherly contest, friendly contest, and only sharpen and make our party battle ready for 2024. That is one of the reasons, the focus, why we decided that nobody should come around Kumasi with paraphernalia, with billboards, and all other things to distract our attention. We have 3 more years to prove to Ghanaians that far more than any other party country, MPP is the best party for this country's fate to remain with. Having said so, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, ministers, Chief of Staff, and all others who are gathered here, I want to take the opportunity to thank the committee that organized this beautiful conference. The good work they've done, the discipline they brought about, everything else has been done so beautifully. And I also take the opportunity to thank our host party in the Ashanti. And we thank you for receiving us. Continue as a party to support this party for good, for 2024 and beyond. Having said so, Mr. President, I want to declare this conference now open. Thank you very much.
And we pray that today is going to be a very memorable day. Our chairman and leader extends her apologies. She's busy working on party matters. We know that today you are ensuring that this conference will bring a change to some structures and procedures and conventions in your party to allow them to work effectively for your party to grow. Your effort to straighten creases and to lighten gray areas, to make it clearer and put to rest issues of agitation and ambiguity and doubts about your constitution, we believe will happen today. And this gesture is a good one that has to be emulated by all political parties. To be a party in power is not easy. So for you to succeed, there is the need to engage with all facets of the society as a means to get a buy-in into your plans, programs, and policies that you want to roll out for the intended benefit of the people of Ghana. In the view of the Convention's People's Party, wisdom does not lay in the bosom of one person, but can be found in the collective mass. Please consult and include all requisite stakeholders in the decision-making process. Success is predicated on hard work, and this should be your landmark as you steer the affairs of this nation. A vision without action forever remains a dream that can never be materialized for the public good. We at the CPP believe that this conference is a climax of all the work you have done in the regions and your constituencies. Government should therefore do everything within their power to bring the economy back to life with the same zeal that you have shown to make your party work. We believe that Ghana must work. We also believe that as we go forth, Ghana will be what is on our hearts. Ghana will be what is on our mind. For whatever we do, for whatever you do, as a party in power, you should ensure that Ghana is on your mind. But we at the Convention's People's Party today want to take this opportunity to plead with the President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to return to the CPP our assets which were confiscated in 1966 after the coup. Yes, it has to be returned to us as a form of reparation, as a form of reconciliation. We want to put on notice that the building that is housing the Ministry of Information used to be our headquarters. And this headquarters was built by the toil of the rank and file of the party, especially the market women who were the foundation and support for the Convention's People's Party. We do congratulate you for holding this event in the Ashanti region, your stronghold. But this region was also the region that stood with the Convention's People's Party during the struggle for independence. Then we have something in common. Ashanti supports both of us. So we believe that everything will be done possible to ensure that Ashanti is looked after. As we go forth into this conference, let us not forget that in the euphoria of enjoyment, in the euphoria of success, there is a pandemic. There is a pandemic today that is ravaging everywhere. We should be mindful of the protocols. You should also remember that this gathering is a gathering of brethren. So if there is anybody amongst you who has an opposing view, do not see it as a form of mischief, but a form of way to let you understand and make this party good enough.
Very much.
Thank you. God bless you and have fruitful days.
Thank you very much, Convention.
The Republic of Ghana, Your Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, National Chairman, General Secretary, leadership, and delegates of the New Patriotic Party. We bring you greetings and felicitations from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, former President of the Republic of Ghana, National Chairman Samuel Ofosu Ampofo, General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia, and the entire membership of the National Democratic Congress. Even as you gather today to take steps that seek to entrench and deepen your internal democracy, we wish you well. We however request that you set aside some time to soberly reflect and consider the many economic issues that plague, afflict, and agonize the good people of this country presently. Your Excellency, currently, teachers are suffering and students are suffering. Doctors are suffering and nurses are suffering. Farmers are suffering and drivers are suffering. Market women are suffering and Ghanaians are suffering. Yet again, we are aware that you plan to impose on the suffering masses of Ghanaians another set of draconian taxes in the next couple of weeks. Your Excellency, we plead that these are your suffering compatriots. You would again reconsider your decision to impose a 1.75% e-levy on the already overburdened good people of this country that are always crying because it is not going well. Your Excellency, delegates of the New Patriotic Party, we wish you a fruitful conference, and we are praying that inshallah on the 7th of January 2022 you would hand over a peaceful country to His Excellency.
Thank you very much,
Dramani Mahama. We wish you all the best, and we are hopeful that you hand over this country.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bamizu.
All the best.
We are most grateful. Thank you, NDC, for the show of comradeship and friendship.
The election is in 2024.
NDC.
And now you have this for Trenda Bakum, Esradia, Wontumi Bibi Frim. Yakapatia, or National Cake, a man Konipaho director, Wontumi Bibi Frimu. But a Noma Mianu, and I made 2 MP4. Sir, Omuri social communication well. The youth in MPP. There is no way all those here contested 2024, no any political party can beat them. And the last one, and then any Ghana constitution will say, Ghana, young fatu chacha, abame banfio what you know, red banfio what you know, 7 players are your koyanima by a tea. And the MPP at the other moment, Kumum, our 2024, and your unity. Mofa what you want to know, don't change. Abandon no more way, no, you should progress. Mun demonstrate, mun communicate. If you communicate well, 2024, I can't obey Yamamon. But mun the fashion some, Ebamun Tamwa, Maweya, some from myself. And the last one, the catch up before the youth in this country, Ghanaians, Seman Kwan Nimua, they will be disappointed in MPP. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Omar.
Clear recognition of the fact that Kumasi is the nerve center of our party, and Ashanti is the region which every party strives to attain optimum number of votes from before that party can win the national elections. We have assembled here in order to reconnect with our grassroots. Above all, we have met in Kumasi to pay homage to the people of Ashanti region for the central role that they played in responding to the clarion call of the New Patriotic Party to continue the agenda of national development, which we captured as 4 more for Nana, 4 more to do more. The party, anchored by our track record of unprecedented development, free senior high, planting for food and jobs, planting for effort, 1 district, 1 factory, 1 village, 1 dam, railway development, the business support programs, the effort to protect lives and livelihood in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, was of the belief that election 2020 was a foregone conclusion. Yet it turned out to be a nail-biting encounter. The MPP recognizes that the party could not have won without the usual tight grip performance by the Ashanti region. And that is why we have assembled here in Kumasi to salute Asantemang. Asantemang, MPP, Emma Mayiko. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I bring you greetings from your representative from the Parliament of Ghana. This conference is being held exactly 1 year after the resounding victory of the party in the December 7th, 2020 presidential elections. But unfortunately, the skin of the tooth victory in the general elections, and exactly 3 years before the conduct of the next general and presidential elections. These 3 years should provide ample time to soberly reflect on the way forward for us as a political party. In 2016 elections, the party won by a mighty and resounding victory. The president won with an unprecedented margin of over 1 million votes, and in parliament, the party won 169 out of 275 seats. That was very pulverizing by all accounts. As I indicated in Cape Coast in 2017, and also at Koforidua in July 2018 and in Kumasi 2019, at the time there were about 17 seats that we could have won nationwide if we had worked slightly harder, devoid of our own internal bickerings and conflicts. I urged us to recognize that we also had about 20 seats that we had snatched from the NDC with very marginal numbers, and stated that we had to secure the numbers of seats that we had in Parliament before foraying into enemy territory. I thought that was conventional wisdom. Unfortunately, the men and women of the grassroots did not listen to us. The party did not listen. There are constituencies here in Ashanti region that we won in 2016, by which we could have yet increased our figures in both the presidential and parliamentary elections with a little bit of push. Indeed, in the lead-up to, and indeed in the 2020 general elections, we must admit that the party let our guards down. We chose to hold our parliamentary primaries not early enough. There were many squabbles and quarrels that ensued from the conduct of our parliamentary and presidential parliamentary primaries, which we chose to conduct rather late, too close to the general elections, which indeed tended to distract the party. There was very little time to heal the wounds that we inflicted on ourselves, and we carried the bruises, disaffection, and enmity into the 2020 elections. In the meantime, our foot soldiers were disillusioned, and serial callers were rendered rather rudderless. As a party, we should confront the reality and not pretend that everything is right with us. The conduct of elections at all levels of the party is increasingly polarizing the party, and it appears that those who should be leading us are perhaps looking elsewhere. In the 2020 elections, the party, by unanimous agreement, chose the incumbent president as our flag bearer. What would have happened if we had engaged in the bitter presidential primaries alongside the bitter parliamentary primaries that we conducted? The effect, without doubt, would have been the loss of more seats in parliament. As I said at Cape Coast, which position was concurred by His Excellency President Ajekum Kufuor, and which point I reiterated at Koforidua 3 years ago, we should do serious introspection into the things that are holding us down. If you're able to unleash the full potentials of our party, the other parties will find it extremely difficult to create space for themselves in contemporary Ghanaian politics. This can only happen if we bury the hatchet that we use against one another. We have our fate in our hands. Mr. Chairman, Excellency the President, at the risk of sounding overly repetitive, I would like to strongly suggest that after the display of muscle at Koforidua and after the acrimonious late selection of parliamentary candidates and the increasing monetization of our internal politics, we must pause to reflect on the method that we choose, that we employ in choosing our party leaders at the various rungs of the party structures. MPP, let all in the party who have ears to listen. Let all in the party who have eyes open their eyes widely, and they will see and hear that in all the established democracies, the parties are run by professional administrators at all levels of the structures of the parties. Presidential candidates, once they win the slots of their parties, appoint the chairman, the vice chairman, organizers, fundraisers, electioneering campaign managers, etc. When a candidate wins and wants to retain such persons, he or she is at liberty to do so. If the candidate loses in the national election, he hands over the party to the administrators who hold the fort until a new election is held. Going forward, let us introspect and reflect. Since admittedly, the elections that we hold, including the previous one at Koforidua and what we intend to conduct next year, beginning with polling station executives, through electoral area, constituency, regional to national executive officers, have the unfortunate tendency of creating and widening cracks in the party. Rather than helping to build a solid united party, these elections increasingly are breeding factionalism and tearing the party apart. We claim that we are Democrats and that after such elections, we are able to patch up and unify our front. The facts on the ground do not support this claim because even the party, it is winner takes all. Losers are left alone to lick their wounds. And that is why our internal elections is, to borrow the words of former President John Dramani Mahama, becoming a do-or-die affair. I'm not oblivious of the charge under Article 55 of the 1992 Constitution, which provides, and I quote, "The internal organization of a political party shall conform to democratic principles, and its actions and purposes shall not contravene or be inconsistent with this Constitution or any other law," unquote. However, I'm fortified by the imperatives of Article 55(9) of the 1992 Republican Constitution, which provides, and I quote again, "The members of the National Executive Committee of a political party shall be chosen," and the operative word there is chosen. They shall be chosen from all the regions of Ghana. As I have been insisting in our previous conferences, a further interrogation of this provision should lead to a conclusion that the selection of party officers does not need to be solely by election. We must explore other means which the parties in more established democracies resort to, including consensus, acclamation, persuasion, and even rotation. Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, 4 years ago at Cape Coast, I related to a problem in the various constituencies involving some constituency officers and their members of parliament. Soon after the inauguration of members of parliament in 2017, some constituency officers started conspiracies to remove some members of parliament, including even first-time legislators. Such negative activities distract the focus of the parliamentarians and negatively affect attendance at parliament. And yet, we need the members of parliament in these days of cliffhanger politics. We need all our members of parliament in parliament to transact government business. If government business is not considered and approved, government cannot perform. If our government does not perform, the Ghanaian people will not vote for our president and our party. That is why, for the umpteenth time, I ask the party to pause and consider the repercussions of these intrigues, which have started as early as 2021, less than 1 year into the swearing in of new members of parliament. We must consider the repercussions of our actions on the fate of the party in the next presidential and general elections. In 2009, when we lost the elections and went into opposition, it became abundantly clear that the good people of Ghana to the good people of Ghana that the MPP parliamentary group were always winning the debate in Parliament, even though we did not have the numbers. Today, the burden of defending the party in Parliament has come to rest on the shoulders of very few people because of the constant peeling off of the very experienced and astute members of Parliament. This, I must re-emphasize, is unhelpful to the growth and development of the new patriotic party. Ladies and gentlemen, compatriots, in 2023, the party may yet again engage in a national exercise to choose our parliamentary candidates. If there is one process that often inflicts wounds on the party, it is our parliamentary primaries. Oftentimes, after such not well-guided exercises, we inflict serious wounds on ourselves. Even those who eventually emerge victorious only emerge victorious and as leaders of factions in the party, and uniting the entire party becomes an almost impossible task. We should recognize that the parliamentary party today is at a critical juncture, at a precipice, and if we don't handle the process of choosing our parliamentary candidates well and end up losing more than one half of our sitting MPs as we did in 2020, if we do not stop the intrigues that have started in the backyards of sitting members of Parliament, even in these early days, Mr. President, there will be tragic consequences for the party in 2024. It is the reason why the National Party should own the process of the selection of candidates in order to avoid any derailment in the forward march of the party. In this regard, I would want to propose to the party that the constituencies should be encouraged to the largest extent possible to adopt the incumbent members of Parliament for the purpose of the next general elections as any free-for-all election that is not guided or guarded will take over our great party. It is important to sound this early so that the necessary steps could be resorted to in order to salvage the cause of the party. There is wisdom in the adage, once bitten, twice shy. We in the MPP have not been bitten once, we have been bitten twice, and we must learn useful lessons. Mr. President, this conference is not intended to conduct any elections. It is for stock taking. Let us ponder and reflect upon 5 years of MPP administration. Our achievements are legion. Our economic growth, the GDP growth, through the planting for food and jobs, the country is now self-sufficient in the production of basic staples. We have cleaned up the banking sector. We have spent over 21 billion to save the deposit of 4.6 million depositors. We have attained a trade surplus for the first time in 20 years. Ghana's sovereign rating have climbed up under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, unseen for the 8 years under Mills and Mahama. We have expanded the school feeding program. LEAP has been expanded to accommodate 150,000 more beneficiaries. NAPCO has been established and has recruited over 100,000 graduates who would otherwise be unemployed. We have employed over 350,000 to render service in public space. Teacher training allowances have been restored. Nurses training allowances have been restored. All these things have been done. Mr. President, government has provided over 600 million COVID fund for small-scale businesses. Government has saved the NHIS from collapse by reducing the arrears to service providers. Your government, fellow conferees, has abolished fees for postgraduate medical training. We have expanded capitation grant, and indeed, the gross international reserves today for Ghana stand at over $10.7 billion, enough to provide for 4.9 months import cover. That is unprecedented in the history of this country. For us in Ashanti region, the maternity block of Komfanache Teaching Hospital started by General I.K. Achampong in 1975, and which has been left to rot for over 45 years, has had a new lease of life. Construction has started in earnest. Lake Busumchi Road, the constituency of the regional minister, is being expanded and dualized. The Kokobing Anyang Kwanta Road and Anyang Kwanta Obuasi roads are being constructed. The Mampong Kofiasi Road is being constructed. In fact, construction is about completed. The The Insuta Biposo Akia Efijuas Road is being constructed. The Swami interchange, the Ofori Chrome, as well as 2 other interchanges are going to be started in 2022. The Kumasi inner city roads are being given a facelift. The outer ring road in Greater Kumasi is going to start in 2022. The 100-kilometer outer ring road for Kumasi. Schools, hospitals are being expanded. Fellow Krukrudais, these are solid achievements that the MPP administration led by His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo have chalked through the various yearly work plans or budgets that have been introduced in and passed by Parliament. Only last Friday, December 17, 2021, the 2022 budget was sealed with the passage of its appropriation bill. So the budget was, after all, not rejected as some people wanted us to believe. The budget has been approved with the passage of the appropriation bill. Tomorrow, Monday, December 20th, 2021, the major revenue source, the e-levy, is going to be considered by Parliament. I want to believe that Parliament, after the unanimous passage of the appropriation bill, shall rise to the occasion to pass the major revenue source to feed the work program of the government for 2022. I'm hugely aware that every member of Parliament needs roads in his constituency. Every member of Parliament needs health facilities. Every member of Parliament needs educational facilities. Every member of Parliament needs electrification for their constituents. The e-levy will be a major booster for these endeavors. And that is why I believe that members of Parliament would not vote against the e-levy in order not to deny their constituents of the benefits of basic infrastructure facilities. Conclusion. Now, these accomplishments that I've enumerated among the score of achievements chalked by your government constitute the solid rock upon which the future growth of this country shall depend. The country needs an MPP government to continue this effort. However, if we do not put our hearts together and act in one accord, we would surrender power. The history of 2008 should guide us. Mr. President, on Thursday, December 2nd, 2020, Mr. President, it is the reason why I reiterate the call for introspection and reflection, especially how we conduct our parliamentary primaries. I want to sound this caution early because we have enough time to do what is right. Mr. Chairman, those of us assembled here today have the power to rebuild this party and reposition it for success in 2024 election. In much the same way, those of us herein assembled have the power to dim the light of the party and blow it apart. Fellow patriots, which direction shall we follow? Which direction shall we chart? In making the choice, let us be guided by the wise counsel of Mr. Ephraim Amo, perhaps the greatest musicologist that Ghana has produced, in his composition of the signature anthem, Generaya Sasini, Eye Abodindi Mayen, Moja Nanam Fiegu Yadeto Homayeno, Adu Mine Wososo, say a baby biatuaso, Nimtien Sasso, Nkontokrani, Bedie Yamo. To wit, this is our land. It is an expensive land bequeathed to us. Our forefathers poured their blood to secure it for us. It is now our turn to continue to rebuild. This ingenuity and dishonesty will derail our progress. Now, relating this to our party today, we should boldly declare, this is our party, it is a noble party. Our forefathers, believing in the rightness of their cause, secured this party, this tradition for us, with their blood and lives. It is now our turn to continue the building of the structure, its foundation secured for us. The lies, the hatred, the uncharitable deeds that we inflict on ourselves would certainly not advance the cause of this great Dankwa Buzia Dombo tradition. Let us ponder and change to reposition the party. Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, patriots, members and supporters of our great party, I thank you very well for your kind attention and wish all of us
NPP to witness this great conference. We are very appreciative for extending such an invitation for such a momentous conference. Your Excellency, I don't have, in the interest of time, I don't have much to say, but I bring to you a message of greetings and solidarity from His Excellency, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, the President of Malawi. The President is extending his congratulations for your election as the best President of Africa. Next year, that award is coming to Malawi. Thank you. Your Excellency, the President of Malawi is extending an invitation for you to visit Malawi soon. But with all said, I've been sent here just to observe and learn from your great party. And what we've seen and witnessed is very encouraging. I wish you, all the delegates, the best convention. Thank you.
And positively on the policies of our government, both for now and for the next 3 years. Secondly, I urge reconciliation among the rank and file of the entire party membership everywhere. With unity and committed fellowship, the party and the government's attractiveness will be urgently restored and deepened. This will strengthen the government through the year 2024. Furthermore, the conference must urge party headquarters to urgently equip itself with a professional strategic team to ensure our opponents do not outsmart us in the current battle of wits, which is obviously pervading in the nation's political arena. This must be sustained through the year 2024. Fourthly, all party faithful must resolve unshakably to uphold and live by the ageless tenets of the Dankwa Domo Bujia tradition of constitutionalism, democracy, rule of law, respect for human rights, freedom of thought and expression, and private initiative. The golden rule of each of our brothers' keeper must undergird these tenets. Fifthly, under no circumstances must leadership become detached from the grassroots, since this will destroy the tradition's democratic genome. Last but not the least, the rationale for the new patriotic party is sincere and unalloyed service to our nation, Ghana, always. So let all of us, true members of the party, pray for God's guidance and protection in discharging the responsibility to nation, party, and self. Development in freedom, Kukrudu.
Thank you. That was a goodwill message for
the gift of life and His abundant grace, which has brought us all this far. Next, I would like to express my profound gratitude to our current President and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Forces, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for his enormous advice and firm support over the years. Let me also acknowledge the representative of his former president, Mr. J. Kufuor, gentle giant, as is affectionately called, and to say that he has given me invaluable guidance and wise words of advice, which have proved to be of a great and lasting benefit to me. I also want to thank His Royal Highness Otumfuo for granting us this warm hospitality and permitting us to use Ashanti for our conference. Dear delegates, the year 2020-2021 will forever stay in our memories as a very tough and difficult period for the whole world, Ghana being no exception, due to the damage the COVID-19 pandemic caused and it continues to inflict on the lives and the livelihood of Ghanaians. However, the period saw some exceptional performance and will be remembered for the strength and resilience it brought out in us as a party and as a people. Let me commend our government, especially our President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, for the impressive and responsive manner he is tackling the COVID crisis. Ghanaians today and posterity will continue to appreciate the people-centered interventions he rolled out at the height of the pandemic, particularly the provision of free water, free electricity, distribution of free food to our compatriots to avoid starvation during the lockdown, and disbursement of stimulus package to businesses to cushion them against the harsh economic impact during the crisis. Mr. President, you have also made available substantial quantities of vaccines which have been administered to ensure citizens are protected and their livelihoods are restored. This determination to defeat the virus and put the Ghanaian economy back on the path of sustainable growth captures the essence of the theme for the conference. That is NPP, our resolve, our determination, and commitment to Ghana's development. Our purpose here today is to conduct an assessment of our achievements as a party from the time of our last conference and to present a summary of our financial statement for the period ending 2020-2021. This is also an occasion for us to affirm our commitment to continue working hard with renewed unity and transparency in the interest of the good people of this country and the party. Dear delegates, in 2014, 7.5 years ago, by the grace of God, you gave me the honor to serve you as the National Treasurer. Since then, as the mandate of our Constitution in Article 10 Clause 8, which states, among other provisions, that the National Treasurer shall be responsible for handling the national funds of the party and shall see to their proper disbursement in accordance with the applicable law. I have therefore focused considerably my efforts to develop and establish robust and practical measures aimed at 1, strengthening our ability to mobilize resources, 2, enhancing transparency in allocation and disbursement of funds, 3, improving efficiency in our expenditure and to ensure value for money and safeguard the party's purse, and 4, continually upgrading and recording and keeping detailed and accurate accounting regime to capture all official financial transactions at all levels for the party. To achieve this objective, the National Treasury, working in close collaboration with our national executives and in full support of the leadership, implemented the following actions: ensuring that every constituency and region operates an official bank account which serves as the only recognized channel for conducting official party financial transactions. It has also significantly improved financial discipline, transparency, and enhanced accountability, and optimized to a large extent the accuracy and account keeping during account keeping due to easy verification activities. Additionally, I have ensured that every bank transaction, no matter the amount, is accompanied with an SMS message instructing how funds should be used and allocated for the various activities. Regional and constituent executives also receive SMS messages, putting everyone on the same page and in ensuring openness and reducing the incidence of mistrust and potential for misappropriation. I am happy to inform you that we have achieved impressive results in this tax. This was clearly demonstrated by events at our recently organized and annual constituency and regional delegates conference held across the country, where treasurers at various levels, to a large extent successfully and creditably, presented detailed accounts of their funds received from the national party and well-wishers, and were able to allocate and expend them and explain to a large extent for the acceptability of their regions and constituencies. I commend the hard-working treasurers and financial secretaries and their colleague executives for this commendable and remarkable accomplishment, and encourage them to continue to improve their performance in the years to come. For the fiscal year 2020, in spite of the difficulty and challenges posed by the COVID-19 crisis, our great party, the New Patriotic Party, had an outstanding financial performance. Revenue. As has been the trend over the years and the election cycle, our account for 2020 saw some significant increase in our revenue inflows, which recorded a growth of 95% over 2019 figure of 57.6 million. This was mainly realized from donations from the appeals to well-wishers and party faithfuls. In addition, we also recorded inflows from testing and dues contribution from members, as well as a special fundraising activity organized mainly by the National Party and the wings, that is, the Women, Youth, and Nasara, respectively, totaling an amount of 3.266,750. I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the party to express our profound appreciation and gratitude to all our great donors who continue generously to support this party. Your kind acts of giving has made a great deal of difference in our fortunes as a party. Nominations and filing fee for our presidential and parliamentary primaries amounted to 15,635,220, an increase in over 188% over 2015-2016 collections at the parliamentary primaries of 5,434,000. Contributions from our parliamentary caucus remains one of our key revenue inflow channels. I would like to use this opportunity to make a strong and passionate appeal to our members of parliament to kindly continue reaching out to make these contributions to the party. Also, in the period, there were some exchange gains and interest on our T-bills, treasury bills, amounting to 840,000. Party cards. Going forward, we are poised to roll out membership ID cards as well as due payment cards at all constituency levels. The objective is to deepen decentralization of dues collection and introduce more efficiency in the process. This will enable the party generate revenue at constituencies to augment whatever support comes from the national to run their activities and operations at the party at the constituency level. Expenditure. 2020, being a very active year for the party, saw a significant increase in our expenditures. We continue our monthly support to our constituencies of 5,000. And by the grace of God, we will continue to do so in the coming years. Let me commend and congratulate the executives of Solar Tunakaba and Boli Bamboy constituency for utilizing their meager share of this contribution monthly to put up party offices in their various constituencies. I have followed with keen interest the progress of work of these developments, and I'm glad that both projects are now near completion. Congratulations, Solar Tunakaba and Wally Bamboy, and I'll urge all other constituencies to follow suit. That is a clear example of positive impact from a positive policy worthy of emulation. While on this subject of putting up buildings to serve as an official office for the constituencies, it is worth noting or mentioning that just yesterday, the New Joabin constituency had the good fortune of receiving a grand donation of a brand new, fully completed operational edifice to serve as their constituency party office, donated by the kind courtesy of one of our members and a patron or elder in Ashanti region, Nanajua Dokuya Beauty Queen. Let us applaud her for this kind gesture. The facility, among other things, has a conference with a sitting capacity of 400. I want to, on behalf of the party, thank her profusely for a kind gesture and encourage more people amongst us to emulate this touching example of benevolence and sacrifice in the supreme interest of our great party. Parliamentary and presidential primaries expenditure also amounted to 10,211,994. Our manifesto, seminars, conferences, training also amounted to 2,997,719. Our Thanksgiving service in December amounted to 1.4,737. Being a good corporate citizen and a party that has the interest and welfare of people at heart, the party also supported and donated to the needy and the vulnerable in society, providing educational support, rent, financial, medical, and general support to the tune of 955,850. Funeral support amounted to 1,039,000. While the party also donated 50,000 to the National Cathedral project and disbursed 187,000 during the COVID in the purchase of and distribution of hand sanitizers, Veronica buckets, and nose masks. Administrative overheads.
Me did the young antechua, and maybe I'm discovered for Europe. I come a bush for Ghana. No, me used to tap send. No fee mobile money transfer. Easy, convenient, fast, and sounds so free. Won't you share? Me discover map him. Tap send. Intienne, also download the tap send app. No, ever mobile phone so free. Na first ka come we busuya for Ghana for na. Tap send. Papa no.